News, Eastern Cape Matrics have made some notable gains this year. The class of 2021 achieved a 73% pass rate. That's a 5% improvement on 2020. eNCA senior reporter Aviwe Mtila joining us now with more at this hour. So indeed a very good performance, I guess, Aviwe, that a province like the Eastern Cape, which has numerous challenges when it comes to the education sector, has improved its matric results.
In fact, Pradan, the second most improved province nationally, 2020 to what we're famous for, and that's being the home of the legends. We do understand, in fact, that currently those top achievers are getting awards now, been handed out by the Premier Oscar Mabuyane, and we heard just inside here how they basically in the top three when it comes to maths and science. Some of the accolades that the Eastern Cape has done really well in just getting a nearly 4.9% increase from 68.1 in the class of 2020 to 73%. In fact, I want to bring in someone who's been central in all of this, the HOD of the Department of Education in the Eastern Cape, who actually joined the Education Department in March 2020 after the late HOD passed away. In fact, I'm going to bring in Dr. Naledi Mbude. Doctor, thank you for joining us at eNCA. Really stellar results that you've produced here. Maybe give us insight on how you managed to turn around the results here in the Eastern Cape.
Thank you. One of the most important instruments that we used was data analysis. Diagnosing correctly where the problem lies when it comes to results is important. Knew that we couldn't do, and the decision where do we focus for 2021 was important. One, we had a group of grade 11s who lost 58% of their teaching time because of COVID-19, and they're in grade 12, and they went through an annual teaching plan reduction, so we had to do something different, that the innovation and creativity of what to do. So the decision to stick on the diagnostics and say who in the province is not performing well below the 65% benchmark that the DBE has laid for all of us was very important. We had 418 and it went up to 427 of those schools. So the focus of the province was on those schools, particularly their achievement within the school, which subject in that school, and going to identify which teachers were underperforming, because when we say a school underperforms, there are teachers in that school, and some of them perform well and some of them underperform. So having a clear trajectory analysis of who is in that school, what they have been doing, and which learners have been underperforming, and those who are in the bracket of below 30, we put that group up.
Now, there's been an interesting trend that you're picking up, HOD, and that's of the rural schools performing really well, and even at some instances outshining the former Model C schools. How did you get this right?
Remember that in 2020 we had the tablets in the Eastern Cape. When there was COVID, our learners had benefited from our ICT and e-learning strategy. In 2021, because of the court interdict brought onto the department by CETA, this group of grade 12s didn't have access to tablets. So we had to go back straight to rural areas, because learners in township and urban areas would have access to connectivity, television, and all those ICT equipment. So we had to go and supplement and plug those gaps for those children, because we knew that was our weakest group because of their social conditions. But the support that we gave to them was emphasizing what area of need they have the most, and this is why we had to pick them up.
Okay, now this is a stellar performance by the Eastern Cape amid the backdrop of a myriad of issues that you're facing. What are the targets for the class of 2022?
We started initially thinking that we could push 10%, but realizing the gap of 2020 and the fact that these learners came with that deficit from grade 11, then we said let's go for 5%, and it worked. Now we are saying, because we don't have 2020, this group of grade 11s that has come now, which are the grade 12 of 2022, will target more on those areas that are specifically affecting particular schools. Even if a school performs well, any identification of an underperformance in terms of their subjects and in terms of particular areas, we go straight there, because we can't do everything. So the correct diagnosis of what it is that school needs is what we are aiming for.
Okay, let me not keep you. Thank you very much, Dr. Dr. Naledi Mbude, a scientist by profession who's really come with an approach of science, of targeting numbers and going to specific schools that have been struggling in the past and ensuring that they get their socks up, essentially. Interesting turn, but then when it comes to just those rural schools and how well they've done. One example would be Luntu Umba, who I spoke to a bit earlier on, who comes from rural Bizana. He made 100% in maths and science and got 7 distinctions basically in all the subjects that he did. Really commendable efforts here from the Eastern Cape.
Yeah, a lot of hard work. Thank you very much there, Aviwe Mtila.